Hello, everybody, and welcome to our celebration of Black History Month 2020 in Scotland. This year, we are celebrating Black culture and Black experiences of being in Scotland. And to start this off, we have got with us today a fantastic personality in Edinburgh called Otis. I'm going to let Otis introduce himself. Over to you, Otis. Can you tell us a bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, who is Otis?
Thank you, Cynthia. My name is I'm Otis Orteseh. Other people know me by the name MC Otis. Lived over the years here, over 50 years now, almost 50 years of my stay in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Okay, yeah. Tell us. Let's go back, right back. You are from Nigeria, originally.
Yeah. Yes, originally. I regard myself now as many people who know me. I regard myself as a Scottish African, and but originated from Nigeria.
How old were you when you left Nigeria?
Well, I'll be giving up my years, but I was just a teenager. I got here way back in the early 70s. So I arrived here way back. I started in England, and then from there I joined the Royal Navy. I was in the Royal Navy for a few years, about 5 years, and it's based in Scotland here at Rosyth, HMS Caledonia in those days. So yeah, that's taking me way back actually.
I'm taking you down, way back down memory lane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me something. When you first arrived in Scotland, I know you were in England before, but when you first arrived in Scotland, were there any other Africans?
Well, coming to Scotland was it was like I landed myself on a completely different planet. For a start, I had never seen snow in my life, and this was the first time that I came across snow. In those days, almost every black person over the years, almost every black person in Scotland, we knew almost everyone, knew almost every other person.
Small community.
In Edinburgh, Glasgow, Aberdeen, we all knew each other in those days. Most people who you see a black person on the street, they were either students or here on holiday from somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's quite changed comparing with today. Way back then.
Yeah. So I'm interested in all the fabulous things that have happened in your life, because I know that you have been involved in so many things. I know you were a student at Edinburgh University. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, jumping the gun there, but after being here for years and years, first, I've got a degree in naval architecture, marine engineering before I came to Edinburgh, where I decided to settle in Edinburgh. And over the years, I was involved in a lot of ethnic minority organization, and was on the committee of so many of them. And what was lacking in me, my idea was to help the community. But my education was more in engineering than in anything, so I decided to seek education that will entail me, give me more knowledge to help them in that way. So I enrolled at Edinburgh University to do community education, which I did. I spent 3 years at Murray House, and then after that I went on to do my master's degree in political science and social anthropology. And this was more entailed to the through African studies,
Okay.
which also gave me an in-depth in studying the sort of going back to my roots to do to know more about Africa, the economic development, social development, and political development in Africa. So it was like killing two birds with one stone, so to say.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting pictures here in your home, and I just want to ask you about this picture up here that's taking center stage. Can you tell me when that was taken? What was happening in your life when that picture was taken?
That's a prominent picture. It's been in so many publications, magazines, and other things. There was, and it was also in a program about 10 years ago in Edinburgh here, in an exhibition of African, people, early people from different countries or different nationalities that settled in Edinburgh, and that picture was in that. I think it was, I took that about, I can't remember exact date on that, but I think it would be over 25 years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
But so many people, if they influenced my life, below that picture you see the picture of Martin Luther King, who also influenced me in his peaceful fight for freedom. And on the other side is Nelson Mandela, also who influenced me in Africa. He is of African, who actually stood for Africa and also for the freedom of humanity in general. I'm wearing this is the Savannah here. I'm wearing.
What does it
here.
say?
It says make. It says on it, make poverty history, and this was on a march in Edinburgh here in 2005, which I've been wearing this since on that march. Up to today, I've never taken it off my hands at all.
Wow.
That was worn in 2005, a demonstration of make poverty history. Unfortunately, I've been on so many of these marches to influence things that up to today the poverty hasn't changed at all. But I don't regret taking part in some of these marches because once or twice you come across one that actually makes sense. I march against I marched against Nelson Mandela's imprisonment, and that was, we achieved something. He got freed and became president.
Yes.
Also, I think another one I can remember was I also had a march on the Berlin Wall, which eventually was knocked down. So I keep my fingers crossed that I've achieved all those those like poverty, and also the Palestinian one, which hasn't been achieved, but well, it may not be achieved in my lifetime.
Tell me a bit about your family, Otis. How many children do you have? Grandchildren? How many grandchildren do you have?
Well, it's a good question. My life entirely. I love Scotland. So Scotland is like I'm an adopted. I regard myself as an adopted son of Scotland. Because I got married here to an Edinburgh girl, an Edinburgh lassie, when we were just youngsters. I was just 24. She was 20.
Oh wow!
I have two daughters from that, from my first marriage, which now I have two grandsons. One, you can see some of them up on this displays on my wall there.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was also married to another Scottish lassie as well, which lasted for over 35 years. So, I mean, I've been in love with not just Scotland in itself, but the Scottish lasses and all. So, yeah, I think you could say I love Scotland. Yeah.
Definitely. Cool. Thanks. Okay, Otis, why don't we have a look at your photo album and you can take us back in time and see what life was for you like back in the day in Scotland. Let us see some of your pictures.
Wow. I think it's like taking me way back. My life story in Scotland.
Uh-huh.
First, I came to Scotland through the Royal Navy, stationed at HMS Caledonia at Rosyth in those days, just next to Dunfermline. That was in the mid 70s, and that was one of my first photos I took there. And from there, I just goes through, because this is taking, a whole life story. When I came out of the Navy, actually, I went and worked on the oil rig. I was as a rig engineer.
All right.
Rig maintenance engineer for a few times. And then I've done, as a black person trying to survive in Scotland, you have to do so many things, or doing too many things at the same time, but I was enjoying it then. I did modelling as well.
All right.
As you can see in there, I was as a young man there. That's like a cowboy one there.
Like fashion modeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Open that. Like Sean Connery there in one of them there. Then, if I can rattle through them, these are also. Now let's see. That's some of my marriage photograph. My daughter's first daughter's wedding photograph. My daughter Kim and my other daughter Donna there. That's my wedding, which took place years ago. In this, I think when I was 74 in Portsmouth.
Okay. I like that kilt one again. That's like the same one. Yeah.
This is one of my photos that has been it's been in so many magazines and received a lot of publicity over the years. That's me as a Scotsman. I always regard myself as a what do you call it?
An Afro-Scot.
Yeah, and then this is a very important part in my life. Here, you can see here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera there. That was it's Otis Orteseh, a shortlisted candidate for the Scottish Parliament in the last Scottish election.
Wow.
I was actually the first black African man to be shortlisted by a major Scottish party into the Scottish Parliament. Unfortunately, my party didn't do very well, so we didn't get in there. Obviously, my aim was to get to Holyrood. As you can see there, I'm not sure what I should read about that. Otis has lived and worked in the Lothian for 40 years. He is a family man with 4 children and 8 at the time 8 grandchildren. His interests are music, theater and sports. He has hosted live radio shows as a DJ and performed as a blues musician and singer in the Edinburgh Festival. He is a graduate of Edinburgh University with a BA in Community Education and a Master of Science, African Studies in Political Science. He served in the Royal Navy, was a marine engineer. So that sounds very, very impressive, but
it is impressive.
Unfortunately, I never made it to Holyrood, but I think it's important because it's. I think I paved the way for hopefully younger coming, Africans who with an inspiration to get into politics in Scotland. And this was some of our a photograph, a group photograph of all the candidates, the Labour candidates into the for the Holyrood in those that year. Whoa, I'll skip that. This is my first graduation and second graduation at Edinburgh University.
What year was that?
The first one was in 2003 because I entered there as a mature students, and then my master's was in 2005 graduation. Over the years, as I said, I did modelling to survive while I was still working and studying.
Did it pay
at
well?
the same time.
Did it pay well?
Well, I don't think I earned anything out of it, but because I didn't take it far enough. But the significant thing about this modelling agency, which was Park Avenue Models in Edinburgh here at Great King Street, Edinburgh, which was run by Carol White, the lady who actually started this modelling agency, was her first agency. She didn't do well in Edinburgh, so she moved to London, and eventually she is the same lady that discovered Naomi Campbell.
Oh wow!
And became very famous. The same. So there you go. That's my claim to fortune, being linked with Naomi Campbell, the same agency. And this in my early modelling career, I did this one was in a magazine called Cuss. I was modelling for Red or Dead of London. As you can see there, I used to smoke like a chimney. I'm smoking there, but I don't smoke now. I'm back in 10. That's another one there. Anyway, so but then that was one side of it. Most people know me as MC Otis, and I'm linked with the club that I used to do with some of my friends in Edinburgh called Disco Inferno over the years, and it was one of the most popular nightclubs in Edinburgh in those days. It opened, I think it was from 1992, and we did it for almost 12 years. And Disco Inferno was very popular. We had a lot of concerts, and it was a 70s nightclub. We had a lot of concerts with the 70s legend, and I performed on stage. I was so lucky to perform on stage with some of the biggest 70s legend like Sister Sledge, Bonnie M, Womack and Womack, Jocelyn Brown, quite a few others. A Heat Wave that I can't even.
That's really good.
And also this here is one of the of some of the nightlife I used to do in Edinburgh here. This was my nights at the Grosvenor Hotel Cafe in the Shanwick Place. I used to do every Thursday night blues and soul music, Thursday till late, which I also used to have guest stars of local bands and other things. There's another club that I started in Edinburgh, which they didn't, I don't know how you can, but this was another club I started in down Leeds called Disco Dock, down at Java. The venue was called Java. Disco Dock was like a disco in the dock of the bay. So, you can see that
that's cool.
over the years.
Okay, so tell me, Otis, it's Black History Month. How important is it for us to learn about our history and to learn about black culture here in Scotland?
Well, like myself, my family, and I've got daughters and grandsons, and that live here in Scotland. It is important for them to know about how black people came to be in Scotland, and how long and what contributions they've done to the Scottish economy and Scottish way of life, and over the years. In my own way, small way, I've been very popular in the music. Also, I have to mention the fact that also we used to have Africa Centre Scotland way back. I had mentioned the fact that when you talk about the mid-70s, the early and mid-70s, there was very, very few black people in Scotland in those days as compared to today. So it is important that our young ones in future know that so many of us have worked in Scotland and contributed to the Scottish economy over the years. Life was very different then than it is at the moment, because then you never had a lot of choice in so many things. You never had to stand up for what you believe in. But it was. Scotland was always very open and welcoming to us. And when you consider the fact that the slaves in Scotland, established themselves, black Africans who were halfway during the end of the slave trade, that over 400 years ago lived in Scotland. And so it is important for Black History Month to remember that, and also to the younger ones that Scotland, they belong to Scotland, and they should feel the sense of belonging, and not let anybody take that away from them.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Otis.
My name is Otis Orteseh. Other people know me by the name MC Otis. I'm black. I'm proud to be Scottish.